What you're looking at is about a 45-degree angle view of the bottom of the rear end where the spare tire carrier goes. This is what actually hangs the spare tire carrier. It looks like it's got a bigger distance between this end in the hole and that end in the hole. And I think I've determined that that bigger side goes towards the rear of the car. May or may not be right about that, but it doesn't really seem to make any difference, or very minor difference in how it hangs, especially since there's play in here. So I've got there's a bottom piece, I guess I'd call it a liner, that goes between the car and the tire. And I remembered from when I took it down, I was able to support that on the differential while I worked at the front here. So if I can find the hole and get these bolts started, there's two. I believe I've got the right bolts. They're 1/2-inch head, which probably makes them a 5/16 thread, and they have to be self-tapping because if they're not, and guess what, those aren't going to work. I need a bigger bolt. But it has to be self-tapping because you can't get behind the thing here once the liner's up. It'd be very hard to get back there for a nut. So I'm going to have to shut the camera off and see if I can find a couple of bolts. So I really dropped the ball on that on the disassembly process because I lost the bolts. I don't have any idea where they are. I didn't catalog them or put them in the places where they were, like I normally do. And I believe that's in the frame. So what I did is I found some 3/8-inch bolts with 16 thread per inch, and I'm going to tap these holes to accept that bolt. That may be what they were. Maybe I got paint inside the thread, and maybe I just couldn't get them started. But this is turning pretty easily. You know what? That's going to be a slow process. Let me try something different. Well, it turns out that's not a very good view of the tap going in, but what I have here is a socket for square nuts. It's 8 points. It almost looks like a 12-point, but that shaft on that tap is 5/16. So I should be able to just use a ratchet on it. And as easy as that's going in, starting to believe that maybe those were 5/16. 5/16, 3/8 inch regular bolts that were in there, and that I got. I got in a mindset that they were self-tapping, and maybe they weren't. They do appear to be like nuts welded on the back side of the frame. I did check that out. So I'm going to take this bolt now. It goes in nicely. Now to tap the other hole. And that probably is better done with the tool that actually goes with the tap, because you can align it straighter. This isn't the easiest thing working over my head like this. Probably should have lowered the car a little bit, but I'm being stubborn today. Okay, now I've got it started. One more turn and then I'll go to the ratchet. Put it to tighten. Yeah, I think where I screwed up is that was not a self-tapping screw. It's tapping too easily. I think I'm just removing paint. So all that could have been avoided had I done as I usually do and stick the bolts back in. Maybe I did that, but then again, the bracket was over there. Or maybe I took them out whenever I was painting. So let me back off the view. Oops, back off the other way. And let me change my battery because it says I've got 3 minutes left. Okay, fresh battery, and I think I've got the same, so to be able to see everything, including supporting the piece, which I have upside down, supporting the piece on the differential while I get these bolts started. So I've got the 2 bolts. You know what? I didn't put any rust proofing on them. I'm going to do that before I put this up. After I found it and tapped them, I didn't finish the process. Okay, let's try this again. Support it on the differential. Grab the piece that hangs the spare tire carrier, and I put it up there upside down again. I better quit working. Come back on another day. Glad I noticed that before I got it too far along. Okay, that should stay up there, just barely. And I'll grab the bolt and the spare tire carrier holder. Okay, so that some days nothing goes right. I forgot to put the spare tire carrier bolt in a position where the threads of it could actually go up inside that frame there. That wouldn't have done any good. I don't know if that's started or not. I'm gonna back it off after I start these threads on the back end of the carrier, or the this pan here, whatever, that the tire sits up against, and that's not the correct bolt. Jeez. And I dropped the other bolt before. Just I hope these are the bolts. I test fit them, threaded them in. But it could be another case where the paint is all that's holding it. We'll see when I try to tighten them. Oh, I hope I have the right sockets over here. I probably don't. It's just the way things are going today. So that's the correct one there. That does appear to be threaded in crooked on the other one, so finally got it threaded straight. And I need to go get me a 7/16 socket. tighten those two back ones, or at least confirm that they are the correct bolts for that hole. Beginning to think those weren't going to tighten. It seems to go a long ways before they started to tighten. They do have to be able to hold up a spare tire. I go get the 7/16 socket for the other two. Okay. Now these back ones here, all they are holding is this plastic panel because the spare tire carrier gets threaded into a couple different holes here and here. Here and here. That one wasn't started. Looking into this one hole here, I think maybe the smart thing to do would be to run a tap in that. Looks kind of rusty. Against my better judgment, I'm going to go get the battery powered ratchet and try to run it slow. They were taking a long time to thread. Just want to make sure that I don't strip these out by running it too fast. I'm really not 100% certain what size bolts those should have been. And I'm guessing they should have been bigger. I'll bet you they're these that I happen to have sitting here because of I thought they were going to use them for the back end. And I don't have the socket for that one. Well, at least I know this will be secure, even though as long as it stays up till you get the tire in there, you're probably okay, because once you get the tire up there, it's held on by the actual carrier. Okay, I'm going to start these with my impact wrench because the head of the bolt has a flange on it that I can press up against, and I get a more direct press with the impact wrench. But I'm going to watch it, and I'm not going to tighten it all the way. Okay, that was with the impact wrench just on the lowest setting. I got them started through the threads. Those are self-tapping, so I don't know if that's what's in there, but they'll work. Okay, so that's up. And I think I'm going to call it a day because it hasn't been a very fun day. But there's another reason. That's the bottom of the carrier that I decided to paint, and as if you were following along with something else I did, there was something I coated with the rust proofing because this takes 6 hours before you can handle it. So that's only been maybe an hour or two. So I'm going to leave that dry overnight, and then it'll be set to handle to put it in.